Hey everybody, lesson 3, chapter 18. We're talking about the Latino rights movement here that runs from the late 1950s all the way through the 1960s, just as we did feminism the other day and the day before that, the youth movement with students around America. And so our essential questions are the same. What did students and Latinos learn from the civil rights movement here? Of course, this case we're focusing on Latinos. And then how has society changed for Latinos at the time? And what we're going to be looking at here are a variety of things. Of course, we're going to be looking at things like organization, legal rights, and leaders like we did with the civil rights movement. And we'll also take a look here in terms of social changes, things also similar to the civil rights movement, like an end to segregation, more legal equality, more educational opportunities, similar to what we saw yesterday with feminism, and then things like economic improvements as well, which of course we talked about with both feminism and with the civil rights movement a couple chapters ago. So what we want to do here right now at the beginning of this class is kind of set the stage. We want to take a look at some of the things that lead us to this civil rights movement for Latinos in the 1950s and the 1960s. And I think the place to start here is going to be immigration inside to the United States from Mexico. And we need to kind of go way back to like chapter 5 or 6 or whatever chapter it was when we first began to do the progressive movement in the beginning of World War I, because right there around 1910 to 1914, we saw a tremendous influx of Mexican Americans to our country because of that Mexican Revolution that began in the 1910s. And you can see that I've got my pointer over there on that particular test question, that quiz question. And we need to remember, I think, it would behoove us to remember that the American Southwest, California, New Mexico, Arizona, Texas, all 4 of those states belonged to Texas, or to Mexico before they belonged to the United States. That means that the first residents of that region were Mexican. They were Latinos. White people moved into that area. Whites were the immigrants to that area. So if we draw ourselves a little United States, right, there we go. This whole area had been owned by Mexico for quite some time before we ever had a large population of whites there. I bring that up because when we talk about a large influx of Mexican immigration, we have to realize that culturally, the American Southwest has long had Mexican cultural influences, and for a long, long time, they were the dominant cultural influences of that region. So when we say in the 1910s, lots of Mexicans are going to be moving north, 90% of them living in the West and Southwest, in Texas, in Arizona, in New Mexico, in California, and that they're going to be working in these farm jobs, and we know they're low-paying jobs, we know that. But what we need to recognize is that they're not coming to situations that they're completely unused to. So when they arrive in America, this large number of immigrants that we're talking about, where do they go? And the answer, again, can be found in something that we studied at almost the beginning of the semester, which is an ethnic neighborhood. And we call these ethnic neighborhoods barrios. And the idea of a barrio is that it is home for these people. A barrio is a place where not only can you get food and learn the language and understand what's going on around you, a barrio is a place where somebody speaks your language. Somebody can talk to you, tell you what's going on, tell you what you need to know, help you get yourself settled. It's a cultural connection to someone else inside a larger American culture. This is a barrio from the neighborhood of Corona in Queens, New York, in Queens, New York City, and it is the most Mexican neighborhood by the census in all of New York City. And you can see that almost all of the signs that you see are in Spanish. The language that you primarily would hear would be Spanish. Tons of people from Mexico living in that barrio, and it's a modern day ethnic neighborhood. It's a modern day little China, a little Italy or Chinatown, that kind of a thing. And this kind of immigration to America is going to continue. It's going to continue from 1910 all the way up to basically 1930 when we hit that Great Depression. And when we hit that Great Depression, what we're going to see is large numbers of Mexican Americans deported back to Mexico. Right, so they come north, they work in our farms and our fields, especially during World War I when we have so many farmers overseas fighting in the war, and then when that returns and when the Great Depression begins in 1929, 1930, we're going to see these population rounded back up and sent back down to Mexico. And this is going to include American-born children. And this is something we're going to take a look at tomorrow. We're going to take a look at American-born children that are illegally deported from America, where they are citizens, to another country. So that's a pretty good setup. I want to do a little more with this, though, to help you understand kind of the complexities of what comes next. What's the trigger for that civil rights movement in the 1950s and 60s?